Knowledge will forever govern ignorance, and a people who mean to be their own governors must arm themselves with the power which knowledge gives. Philosophy is common sense with big words. Liberty may be endangered by the abuse of liberty, but also by the abuse of power. If tyranny and oppression come to this land, it will be in the guise of fighting a foreign enemy. The advancement and diffusion of knowledge is the only guardian of true liberty. Where an excess of power prevails, property of no sort is duly respected. No man is safe in his opinions, his person, his faculties, or his possessions. The circulation of confidence is better than the circulation of money. The truth is that all men having power ought to be mistrusted. A popular government without popular information or the means of acquiring it, is but a prologue to a farce, or a tragedy, or perhaps both. I should not regret a fair and full trial of the entire abolition of capital punishment. Each generation should be made to bear the burden of its own wars, instead of carrying them on, at the expense of other generations. Wherever there is interest and power to do wrong, wrong will generally be done. To suppose that any form of government will secure liberty or happiness without any virtue in the people, is a chimerical idea. Any reading not of a vicious species must be a good substitute for the amusements too apt to fill up the leisure of the laboring classes. If we are to take for the criterion of truth the majority of suffrages, they ought to be gotten from those philosophic and patriotic citizens who cultivate their reason. Ambition must be made to counteract ambition. Whenever a youth is ascertained to possess talents meriting an education which his parents cannot afford, he should be carried forward at the public expense. A sincere and steadfast cooperation in promoting such a reconstruction of our political system as would provide for the permanent liberty and happiness of the United States. I have no doubt but that the misery of the lower classes will be found to abate whenever the government assumes a freer aspect and the laws favor a subdivision of property. The capacity of the female mind for studies of the highest order cannot be doubted, having been sufficiently illustrated by its works of genius, of erudition, and of science.